Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode in my Minecraft survival world. You can see I'm right here at the project which we started in the last episode, and I'm also in the middle of a trapdoor. I don't really know why I decided to do that, but this is actually the place where the villager which we need is actually going to go. And I found out something pretty cool, which is that this villager doesn't have to be a farming villager, the one which will go where I'm standing. But obviously the one which will be roaming around on the dirt around me, that will have to be a farming villager because he's the guy who's actually going to be doing all of the farming. But yeah, basically I built up the first layer here, apart from the roof on top, of course. I've got all of these jack-o'-lanterns looking pretty cool. I've arranged them so that the faces are all facing inwards, which is pretty nice. And now all I actually have to do is get a villager into this spot. So we actually have tons of villagers down there at the platform, and I'll just take you there right now to show you how many we have, because we have absolute tons of these guys. It's pretty ridiculous, and I actually had to switch off my villager breeder, and my frosted boots don't seem to be working right now. Okay, there we go. I just had to step onto the water in blind faith, apparently. But yeah, as I say, I actually had to switch off my villager breeder and yeah, break down all of the doors which we had at the top, just because I was getting so many villagers that there wasn't enough space on the platform. So as you can see, all of the doors are gone from that village above, and that's because if we go over here, this platform is basically completely filled up, and if I did have a village there, all of the villagers would kind of crowd round to this corner here, and it would be absolutely impossible to kind of control the flow of all of them flowing into this cell right here. And I think it still will kind of be impossible because there's so many of them. You can see they're kind of colliding with each other's hitboxes, and yeah, it's not looking too good. If I open those fence gates, they're just going to come pouring out, and I don't know whether I'll be able to close them or not, unless I kind of put like a water stream like somewhere pushing them all back or something like that. I've got no idea how I'm actually going to do this, but I think I'm just going to let them all fall down into here. And so yeah, I'm going to go and actually connect up this rail line to something, maybe that rail line over there, and this one will lead all the way back to the farm. So that's what I've basically got to work on right now. And it's probably going to be quite a little bit more difficult than all of these ones because it's going to be quite a long rail line, and there's probably going to be some quite steep inclines, so I'm going to have to use loads of powered rails and things like that, but hopefully this will be okay. Just look at that creeper down below. He's so eager. He's so eager for me to fall down just so he can come and blow me up, but that's not going to happen. So as you can tell, I'm making a huge railway line leading all the way back to our villager platform, which I've actually gone and extended as well, so you know, just so no more of these guys spawn. I should probably get to sleep, and then I'll show you this huge rail line which I've actually made. It's a bit crazy, but finally we have reached back to this place, which is exactly where we need to be. Although to be fair, I don't actually think, you know, we even have enough rail to complete all of this, so we still have to do all of the rail on this part. I made this part out of dirt just because we're going to need to keep changing it around and keep raising it every time to get to the next place. That sounded like a witch. That was kind of creepy. But yeah, we have this whole railway line, and apparently I've missed a few blocks over here. So I'm just going to quickly add in a little bit of a lever right here, just right there, and reconnect that, and that should be good. There we go. So it probably would have been wiser just to use a minecart to actually get down this thing, because it is pretty long. As you can probably tell by now. But yes, I have also extended this platform over here, so you can see that it's kind of a little bit updated now. It looks a little bit cooler. We've got the walls have obviously been extended around here, and we've got this ladder as well to make it easier to get up. And also we've got this little bit so I can actually get out of this place a lot easier than I could before. Before I had to kind of break this fence post here, wherever it is, and just let this water stream loose and kind of push them all back and stuff. But the villagers can't actually climb this ladder unless they're kind of really pressed up against it. And I've also removed the bottom bit of the ladder, so it should be okay. But even if they do get to this level, I've got some fence gates here and some glass blocks on either side, just so they've got no way of pretty much escaping, hopefully. Although you never know with villagers, they could just end up escaping. This is the line to actually refill the villagers into the platform. If any of them are ones that I actually don't want, which come out of here, because I'll obviously need farmer villagers sometimes. So if any of them are the wrong ones, then I can just, the minecart will actually stop here, and the villager in the minecart will stop here. And I can just sort of, I think, reconnect it this way, and I'm going to have to figure it out a way of reconnecting that to the top. But now I'm pretty much sure, once I've finished this rail line, that I'm ready to actually get the first villager in. I am quite surprised that everything has gone quite smoothly so far in this build. Everything's been working pretty perfectly. I've got the first layer nearly up and running now, apart from the fact that I don't have the farming villager in yet. I did get the other villager in. As you can see, I've kind of blocked him off from the top just so no mobs can come up. But this guy is in. He was pretty easy. That took about a few minutes just for him to go along the minecart rail, and then I got that guy in nice and easily. We've also got loads more villagers that we can actually use, so that's fine. The villagers are surprisingly not an issue in this farm. In fact, nothing is the issue. And obviously I've just added in a half slab roof here to stop endermans from spawning, as is in the tutorial, which by the way I will link in the description below if I can remember to do that. And yeah, I think I'm just going to carry on building up all of these layers. They are pretty simple, so no need for progress updates really. All I've done is added in this roof, and I've started to plant in the crops. And obviously you can only have one crop per layer, so this layer is going to be the wheat crop. But if you are planting wheat, then actually you have to plant all of the seeds by yourself. But if you're just using carrots or potatoes, the villager will actually even plant the crops themselves, which is really awesome. So I think you can't use wheat like that just because it's the seeds that are a different sort of entity. You can't give them seeds. They're a completely different item, and I don't think they will kind of plant the seeds down directly. They'll only handle the wheat that's produced afterwards, if you kind of get what I mean. So yeah, I'm just going to go fill this thing up with seeds or with wheat, and then I'll build up a few more of the layers. Okay guys, so I've been building this thing up for a pretty long time now, and I've got actually 4 layers done, which I will just show you right now, so you can just take a look at all the progress that I've been making. I've got 4 layers done here, and I'm not really too sure about the blue glass. I think it looks okay. I think I'm just going to leave it like that, because I did originally want to use kind of a patterns of glass and, you know, 2 different colors of glass or something like that, just so it would contrast a little bit more. Maybe I was going to use some darker glass in the corner sections here and some lighter glass on the other bits, but I kind of just settled with just using the same color for the whole thing, because I think it's a safer option in terms of the looks. I think it kind of just looks safe and okay, and I'm kind of going to go with this. But yeah, as you can see, I've been kind of winding these minecart tracks around all over the place, climbing up the side of this thing, because we actually have a villager in each of these little pods. But the only thing is, we obviously don't have any of the farming villagers in. So this is the wheat layer right here, and the other ones I haven't decided what I'm actually going to put in each of these, but all of them are practically identical. I didn't really mention how this farm actually works. So when we get the farming villager in, it will actually be roaming around on this area, and there'll actually be this crop right here. Will be tilled as well. This piece of farmland, or this piece of dirt, will be farmland as well. And every time the villager sort of steps on this pressure plate, that gives an update to that block right there, which means that just because the light level is just too low or something for a crop to grow, the crop will actually break. And so as a farming villager goes off, and you know, replant some of the other crops, it will also come back here every so often to replant this crop. And when it's doing it, it will try and share food with that villager right there. But of course, the food's going to hit this lily pad and go into the water stream, and then go down into this drop shaft into whatever the hell we're going to have down below, which I don't really know how we're going to set up all of the storage and things like that, just yet, but I'm just kind of going with this one step at a time. But yeah, as you can see, everything is pretty much the same. We've got another villager up here, and this is our fourth layer right here. But to be honest, I think I'm going to go up another layer as well. I'm probably going to go up like 7 layers, like I said at the beginning. There's only one possible problem which I think we could face, which is the fact that at this layer, we're actually going to get ice spawning like this. This is obviously because of my frosted boots, but this ice that was here before is just natural ice which spawned because of the height level we're at, and obviously because we're in a certain biome where this ice spawns. So I have a feeling that it will be okay, because I actually searched it up on Minecraft Wiki, and the ice I think only spawns when you don't have a roof above. So if we have this roof, it should stop all of the ice from spawning, hopefully. So if it does, I'll let you know. If it doesn't, then there is actually no point of building a further level on top of this. So I'm just going to add in a full block roof, because right now there's only half blocks, and hopefully that should stop any of the ice from forming. Oh wow, this thing is getting taller and taller and taller. We're on the 6th level now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, I've lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think we're on the 7th level now, so right at the top. And you know what? I think I'm going to go to 8 levels. I've gone completely crazy with this thing, and I've just kept building it up. And everything is basically just like I said in the last cut. Everything's repetitive. And I've got to the 7th level right here, which will be on this level. And to be honest, this has used ridiculous amounts of my dirt supplies, and I've had to do 2 trips there and back to the desert biome to actually get loads of sand to smelt into glass, because it's used tons and tons of glass as well. I didn't even count how much it was, but it was definitely many inventory fulls, because that's obviously maybe 2 inventory fulls of glass, probably definitely more actually, because I already had some glass before I actually went to mine it in the sand deserts. So yeah, pretty crazy. I've lost my shovel, obviously that broke before, or I lost one of them, and then I had another efficiency shovel which basically ran out of durability when I used it at the deserts. And yeah, it's also taking tons of iron. I've had to make a couple of trips down to the iron Titan storage system over there just to go and get some more iron as well. So yeah, this is a very costly build, and yeah, I'm still going to go ahead and probably make one more level than this. So this is the 7th level, and then one more on top of that will be the 8th and final level, hopefully. So I've also got a villager into here just now, which is all looking completely fine. I think you can use these guys, but I think although this is a brown coat, you can't actually use these kind of brown coats on the actual farming level to do the farming, because I think you might be able to, but this guy's like slightly different. He's a weaponsmith, and he has the black thing on as well, so I don't think you'll be able to use him. But anyway, I'm just going to keep piling on all of this dirt, because I'm actually using dirt in place of all of the iron just to save on the iron, because you can actually just put any full block there. So I thought I had loads of dirt, I might as well use that. So I'm going to keep placing this stuff, and then I will be back. So a pretty amazing thing just happened, because I just brought this villager into the 7th layer, which we're on, which is the 2nd last layer of the farm. So we only actually have to build one more layer here. And what happened was the minecart which I was in, which was just behind this one, kind of when I got out of it, it just hit that minecart and went all the way back, all the way over there to the villager platform thing, and it went inside the cell right there and took one random villager out. And I was just hoping that it would actually be a farmer villager, which it is. So it says fisherman, but this guy is a brown coat, and so we can actually use this guy to be the first kind of farming villager. If I just redirect one of these minecart tracks down to the bottom track, then it should be okay, and this guy should start actually farming, and we should have ourselves our first villager. Oh yeah, so via this little weird intersection thing that I've done here, we have our first farming villager inside the platform, or the first level right here. And yeah, it looks like he wants to actually go and farm all of this, which is awesome. So I'm just going to let this guy free, but first of all I'm going to have to get some more blue glass just to cover this up, of course. This is awesome. He's actually already started harvesting the crops without even being out of the minecart, which is pretty awesome. It shows that this farm is actually working. I did hit him there, which was slightly bad, but this should be okay. And if I just replant this one for him, make his job a little bit easier, there we go. I think we're done. So this guy's going to go around and harvest everything. I'm just going to quickly get out of here, trying to not to let him escape somehow. And yeah, there we go. We've got our first bit up and running, and that is working really fantastically. Now I'll just have to do the last layer up there, and we will be done with this whole thing. Guys, so we're in the only working level right here with the farming villager sort of farming away every now and then. He's not going as fast as he was before, and these big patches were just created because I took out some of these light sources a few minutes ago and tried replacing them with glowstone to see if a problem could be fixed, because we actually have a huge problem here. And I mean, it may appear slightly small and insignificant at first, but this is going to affect the whole farm, and it actually means that at the current moment in time, for some weird reason, which I have no idea why this is happening, the farm isn't working. And yeah, we've just built 8 layers of this thing, so slightly worrying right there. That was a lot of materials and time which went into this thing, but yeah, so basically, the way that this farm works, I mentioned before, is this bit right here. I don't even have a hoe on me, which is fine, but if you imagine that this is actually farmland, and we planted a seed right there, then what you would see happen is as you actually go onto the pressure plate, or as the pressure plate is activated by the villager, the seed should just pop off, and it should just turn into an item, or rather the wheat plant should just pop off. And that's because the light level right here is actually 7 in terms of the block right there. So you can see that it says 7 block. So that should be 7 block, and it should also be 0 sky. It shouldn't be 12 sky. That's, I don't know where that's come from, but there's actually like a whole block above us and many more whole blocks above us. So I don't know why this is saying 12 sky, unless I don't know how the light mechanics in Minecraft actually work. I did search them up on Minecraft Wiki, and I found nothing useful whatsoever. It said that opaque blocks should actually stop the skylight from coming from above. So obviously we've got an iron block above there. That should actually stop it. I did try replacing this with an iron block as well. That made no difference whatsoever. So I'm really unsure as to why that's happening. And what it means is that when you actually grow a crop on this piece of farmland right here, when it is farmland, that crop actually stays there, and it doesn't get destroyed when you actually walk across the pressure plate, which means that the farm doesn't work, because this guy doesn't have any incentive to come back to this place and actually feed the villager up there, which is terrible. So originally I thought that, oh, there must be some mistake in how I placed the lights, or the fact that in the tutorial the person used sea lanterns, so I tried using glowstone instead, because that's like a fully transparent block just like sea lanterns, but that didn't seem to work either. So yeah, I just replaced these guys, and I actually went into the world download to see if that one was working, and that one was working perfectly. So it's not a problem with the mechanic, it's just a weird glitch in Minecraft, which means that this is somehow has a light value of 12, which is completely wrong. So guys, this explains a lot. I was kind of extremely stupid, I guess, or maybe I wasn't creative enough to realize that this was the problem. All I needed to do was that. So obviously once I get the roof on this farm and stuff, it will all be okay. The problem is solved now, because the light from this corridor, which goes all the way down to the bottom, was actually going the skylight from here was going into this block somehow, even though it's kind of 3 blocks away. But I guess that happens. So if we go down all the way now, the whole mechanic works perfectly. And yeah, I was so worried about that. I went into my redstone world originally, and I recorded loads of cuts of me trying to build a redstone version, to actually pop off the block and things, and it all went terribly wrong. it was all messed up. But now, thank God, this thing is working, because if we go like that, you can see that the plant does actually pop off. So this thing is fully working, and oh boy am I very happy about that, because that would have been a big disaster if it wasn't. So I'm just in the process of transferring over my last villager, and for some reason he seems to be moving on unpowered powered rail, which is weird. That shouldn't really happen at all. But anyway, I'm just going to send this guy off, and then I'm going to follow him myself right here. This is the last farming villagers to actually put in, because I've put in all of the farming villagers of the other layers, and surprisingly it's been really easy to get them from here and put them into the breeding cell, or not the breeding cell, the holding cell right there, and sorting them out has not been too much of a problem. I did get some other villagers in there, and I did get one random librarian or something like that come up to one of the floors just now, because I accidentally let him go. But it's okay, I sent him all the way back, and it's pretty good, looking pretty good. So we've got a floor which is carrots there, wheat there again, I think that's potatoes, wheat again, and this one here is probably going to be carrots, because I have tons of those in my inventory. And let me just check if I'm right, just in case I make a mistake here. So we've got wheat there, potatoes there, so we've got one potatoes, we've got another wheat there, and this is carrots again, and this is wheat. So we've got 3 wheat floors, 1 carrot floor so far, and 2 potato floors, because we've got another one above. So this one should be carrots, just to space things evenly out. But I think I have 3 wheat floors just because wheat is pretty much the best crop to grow for actually breeding villagers, which we're going to actually use all of these crops for. So I think I'm just going to seal this up here and give this guy tons and tons of carrots, which I brought over until he stops kind of picking them up. So I think they have an inventory of about 5 stacks or something, or 8 stacks, might be 9 stacks. I'm not too sure, but I'll just give him a few of these, and yeah, he seems to have stopped picking them up, as you can see. So he's kind of filled up with all of his stuff, and so yeah, we can just go and break this, and also hoe down that one. And yeah, I've actually used 3 diamond hoes. This is my 3rd one in the completion of this farm, in making all of the farmland, which is really crazy. So as you can see, this guy started planting straight away, and also the colored beds, by the way, are really cool in Minecraft. I just thought I'd say that. I didn't really use them much until now, and so yeah, I've got a black bed in my inventory, which is kind of weird. Never thought I'd say that before. But yeah, now we just have to go and give this villager right here loads of potatoes, or maybe even seeds again, have another wheat one. So I'm not too sure. We have 2 potatoes, 2 carrots, and 3 wheat. So I'll just find out, I guess, which is the better crop to have, and then we will pretty much be done with this farm. So the farm is now practically done, but even better news, I'm back at the villager breeder again, and take a look at this. Yeah, pretty remarkable, hey? They're all back to normal again, and I don't know what's up with this thing, but it kind of just breaks itself and then fixes itself. But hey, I'm not complaining. I think that's pretty good. Clearly our villager breeder is working. I was right to just leave it and hope for the best, because this thing is now fixed and all of the villagers' positions are correct. They're still sharing all of the food. I only gave them like a stack of carrots, and they're still sharing that. They've been sharing it for quite a long time, but now they're going to get a lot more food than that, because they've got 8 layers of that ridiculous farm we just built over there to actually feed them. So what I'm going to do now is actually build a water stream kind of going around this whole farm. But what I'm going to do first is actually switch on the village right at the top, which I actually switched off, and that's because I want to see whether this village will actually affect our farming villagers over there, and make them attracted towards this village, whether we're out of range of it or not. And I think, as far as I've calculated, I measured the distance of this long bit of the minecart track right there. I think we're far enough away, maybe nearly 100 blocks or something like that. Definitely more than about 60 blocks, I think, which is what you actually need, or something along those lines, to actually stop the village from being recognized by those other villagers. And yeah, these guys are all nicely arranged, which is like how I like to see them. And now I can just go and put in all of these doors. However I did it last time, I think it was something like this. And we should see these guys breeding again eventually. And yeah, I'm just going to go over to the farm to check out whether it's still working or not. Yep, from what I can see, all of the villagers are just going about their normal duties. They haven't recognized any kind of village yet. I haven't seen the top players, but if these guys are alright at the bottom, I'm pretty sure all of them will be, and I'll probably notice if there's a significant drop in the amount of food being produced, but yeah, definitely not any drop just yet. So yeah, we have this whole thing up and running, and now what I'm going to do is actually build a water stream from this bit right here, which is where all of the lovely items keep flowing down from. I've got already loads of stacks of bread. In fact, I should probably just show you all of the bread that I've got from this farm, which is quite a lot, and all of the potatoes as well. Some of these potatoes were mine already, I think. And yeah, some of these diamonds are just for building the diamond hose every time. But as you can see, the stuff just keeps flowing down, which is absolutely brilliant indeed. And yeah, I'm ready to build the water stream in now, and then we should really be finished with this whole project, which is absolutely awesome. But at least for today's episode, we've run well over the time limit. I've completely lost track of time in building this crazy thing, but I'm really happy with all of the progress which we've made in today's episode. You know, we've built an 8-layered farm and it's all gone perfectly well, which is not something that I usually end up saying. It usually would take me a lot longer to do something like this. So I'm really happy with the result. And if you're wondering why we're just, you know, doing loads of villager episodes, this is going to go on for a little bit longer, but not too long, because I will start other projects. But the villagers are really necessary. I needed to get the villager system up and running at my base, which is the next thing that we're going to be working on with these villagers. And that is basically the end game of this, or the end result which I want, which is to get loads of villagers in a kind of a system where I can trade with them and get loads of stuff, good gear for the end dragon fight, which is obviously what I said a while ago that we were aiming towards. So that is what all of this is for. And yeah, obviously having a really good like villager system in your world is beneficial anyway, but that is the whole point of doing all of these villager episodes. So I'm really sorry if you're getting bored of seeing me, you know, moving around villagers and stuff like that. I will be starting some other projects pretty soon as well, hopefully. But yeah, as I say, if you did like this episode, please be sure to leave a like down there and feel free to subscribe as well. But that is it for today, guys. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.